There's only an amount of time before somebody's karma runs over their dogma. But most medical professionals, most MDs are too stupid to know even when that happens. Breaking news. You ready for this one? You're sitting down. If you're driving a car, pull over. Fasten your seatbelt. Put your cell phone down. Put your drink down. Just pull over. You ready? Research clearly shows, MD research clearly shows that if you drink a lot of alcohol and smoke cigarettes, your risk for getting multiple sclerosis reduces by 50%. 50%. They did a really interesting study here that looked at people who had developed multiple sclerosis along with controls. And they had them fill out a health history of, what their health habits were like. And lo and behold, the people that drank a little bit of alcohol had only a little bit of benefit, but the people that were, pounding it down, 50% of them, 50% less occurrence of multiple sclerosis. And the benefits, the positive benefits about not getting multiple sclerosis increased if, in addition to drinking heavily, you were smoking. Now, most people in the listening audience would think that now this is an absurd test, but it was not an absurd test. It was actually from, my point of view, it was a relatively good epidemiological survey, and you can trust the results. But the conclusions that the MDs draw about this is nuts. Because remember, they're colorblind art critics who don't know that they're colorblind. They're looking at the world through lenses which lend a bias to everything that they see, but they've forgotten that they put the lenses on. They don't even know that they have the lenses on, so everything that they look is rose-colored, and therefore everything that they look at has a built-in bias that they're completely unaware of. So the MDs are scratching their heads trying to figure this one out, and of course, where are they going to go to try to figure this one out? Genetics. Oh, these people who drank more alcohol and smoked heavily, they must have had a certain gene that enabled them to process alcohol more efficiently or whatever. And again, that's nonsense. It is nonsense. Same thing happens when the MDs look at, quite frankly, anything. They look at the French people, and they see that, holy smokes, the French are the third healthiest nation in the world. They have the third highest life expectancy, and person to person, they have healthier outcomes than all the other countries in the world. They're in the top three, right? French. Meanwhile, what do the French do? They smoke, they drink, they eat butter and fat and wine, and butter and fat and wine and salt, and butter and fat and wine and salt, and it's called the French paradox. Because, those things are all supposed to be bad for you. So rather than letting the data mold and open their minds, the MDs run around in circles chasing their tails trying to figure it out. They call it the French paradox. It's not a paradox to me, because I know exactly why the French are healthier. Because they drink red wine, they eat butter, they eat salt, they eat cream. All of these things are good for you. They are not bad for you. But the MD will never, ever, ever question their initial assumptions. They will never, ever, ever question what they have been taught. And so they scramble around. So rather than understanding the positive benefits of alcohol in this regard, because, right, if it's wine, it's got resveratrol in it, and it's got phytonutrients in it that are high in antioxidant activity. I have no idea what the smoking link is. Probably because cigarette smoke delivers trace minerals to the body. Cigarette smoke delivers trace minerals to the body. Did you know that? What's tobacco? What is it? It's a ground-up plant. You know what happens when plants grow in soil? They suck minerals out of the ground. Where do the minerals go? Into the plant. It's one of the reasons why we need to eat plants. We need the calories to burn for, energy, but we need the minerals in the plants to keep the body healthy and alive. Now, everybody's minerally deficient. So, ounce for ounce, the more minerals you can get into your body, no matter what form it's in, is a good thing. If I had to guess that what the positive effects of smoking would be, it would be that smokers are more mineralized than other people, and if you're not mineralized, you're going to die. But before you die, you're going to suffer, and then you're going to die. But because the MDs don't know this, because the MDs can't see this, because they have these blinders built in, they're spending millions of dollars running in the wrong direction. Actually, they're not even running in a direction. They're going around and 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 around. Your tax dollars at work, your research dollars at work, your medical miracle waiting to happen. I don't think so. And you know, for goodness sake, enough is enough, don't you think? I mean, isn't this nonsense enough? First, they changed the recommendations for cholesterol numbers in order to sell more statin drugs, and then they overlooked the relationship between statin drugs and Alzheimer's. And then they changed their blood pressure numbers 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times, and then nobody in the world can agree on what the appropriate blood pressure numbers are. But everybody does agree that high blood pressure can only be handled with drugs. Nobody looks for the root cause of high blood pressure. Nobody looks for the root cause of Alzheimer's. Nobody looks for the root cause of lung disease. Nobody looks for the root cause of anything. Because the person that you are paying hard-earned money, you know what I'm talking about. You don't have very much money, do you? You got credit card debt up to your ears, 10 grand in credit card debt. The average American citizen, who owns your house? The bank does. Who owns your car? The bank does. You're scrambling by, you're squeaking by, especially in the last 5 years. This economy sucks. And unless you're in the 1%, it's affecting you, and it's affecting you big time. But you got to have health care. At least that's what President Obama has mandated. Now everybody has to buy into the system. So you do. But, you know, most people were buying insurance anyway. Most people with an income, most people who are above the poverty line, they were getting insurance anyway. But what do you, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 a month, and for what? Access to a system of medicine that doesn't even know how to cure heartburn. Access to a system of medicine that's the leading cause of death in the United States. Access to a system of medicine under whose guidance Alzheimer's has risen from obscurity to the 6th leading cause of death. Meanwhile, the pharmaceutical industry experiencing record profits. On whose back? Your back. The back of you and your loved ones, your children, your husbands, your wives, your family is paying for medical madness. And it is madness. It is insanity. We've got the idiots running they're running the show. But, you know, they don't know that they're idiots. I mean, it's the rare person that knows they're an idiot, right? And what's the saying? The wise man the fool that knows he is a fool is that much wiser. The fool that thinks he is wise is a fool indeed. Your medical doctor is a fool indeed. And I say it over and over and over again, but it's not, you don't even have to be smart to understand what I'm talking about. You don't have to have a high IQ. You don't have to know how to spell holistic. You don't even have to know how to spell vitamin. You don't even have to know how to spell ambulance. All you need to know is, am I getting results or am I getting no results? Does my health get better every year, or does my health get worse every year? Am I getting better? Am I getting sicker? And when I get sick, what treatments do I get, and how's that working for me? If we brought the same oversight, if we brought the same critical eye that we bring to everything else in our life, we would have fired the MDs ages ago. And the only reason we don't is because we don't know there's anywhere else to go. What are you going to do? Figure it out yourself? What are you going to do? Search the internet and figure out how to drill your own tooth out? You're not going to do that. What are you going to do? Search the internet and try to figure out how to cure breast cancer? Good luck. So, the MDs really have cooked the books here in their own behalf, and that's why they exist in the top dog status. That's how they've maintained their position of power, because they keep everybody else out of the marketplace. I wrote about this in my book. If by some genie in the bottle magic we were all to wake up tomorrow and there would be equal access to naturopathy, homeopathy, herbalism, acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, and MD-directed medicine, if research money was divvied out equally amongst all of the medical professions instead of giving it all to the pharmaceutical industry and the MDs, if your insurance paid for everything instead of just MD treatment, within 5 years most MDs with a general family practice would be out of a job. The only MDs that would still be working would be the surgeons, the emergency room doctors, and the military field doctors. That's it. And they know it. Somebody knows it, because that's why they set it up this way. For goodness sake. It's like the monarchies of old. Even though the king was an idiot, he remained king, because that's just the way that it is. Well, thank God for the internet. Thank God for a relatively free country. We don't have a free medical market, but at least I have the freedom here to be able to speak my mind to whomever wants to listen. It's time we listened. It's time your family listened. It's time your children listened. Because we are suffering and dying needlessly. The only reason, we've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. We went to see the MD when we should have run away from the MD as fast as is humanly possible. Results speak for themselves. Leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical treatments. I rest my case. Back, ladies and gentlemen, January 9th, 2014. The only thing I have to say is this. Oh, Canada. Let's go to Canada and see what Larry's up to. Hey, Larry, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hello.
Hello, Larry. How'd you like my little Canadian anthem rendition? Was it pretty good, wasn't it?
Well, not bad, for starters.
Hey, man, thanks for calling. How can I help?
I'm calling about my daughter. She was born with Tedder Court syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
And the doctors are putting in her the spina bifida category, which really she doesn't have.
Right.
She's 7 and some months old, and she's walking with braces that are up to her hips.
Yeah.
And we're on the program now over 2 months, and I was wondering, I want to change the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the white powder calcium. She has troubles taking it, like the taste and stuff. Is there something that could replace that?
Oh, yeah, it's a good idea, and that's a good question. Yep. So is she taking the orange 2.0 peach tangy?
Yes.
All right. So I want you to keep that. I also want you to get 1 bottle of the original Beyond Tangy. 1 bottle of the original Beyond Tangy. I want you to get 1 bottle of Cherry Mins, Ultimate Cherry Mins, CHERIMINS. That's a longevity product. Ultimate Cherry Mins. Mm-hmm. And here's how I want you to mix them. What's she weigh?
95 pounds.
Okay. So I'd like her to have half of a scoop of the tangy that she's taken now, the 2.0 orange peach flavored. Half a scoop of the original tangy, which is a red powder, and 1 ounce of the Cherry Mins. 1 ounce of the Cherry Mins mixed in water with ice in it. Water with ice in it. At least 12 ounces of water with ice in it. And I'm going to bet you 25 cents that she's going to love the way that combination tastes. Because when you mix those 3 things together with enough water, it tastes really pretty good. Now, if that's still doesn't tickle her fancy, if she still has a little bit of a problem with that, then my recommendation would be to make that same solution, take that same stuff in the same amounts, and put it into little popsicle molds, freeze it, and let her eat it like a popsicle. I know she's going to like the way that tastes. Now, if you want to, when you make the popsicle, you can add pineapple juice or orange juice or pomegranate juice or blueberry juice, or I don't care. You can add anything else that you want to try to come up with a mix that actually tastes good to her, right? Then you're going to be ahead of the game. But I couldn't agree more. I didn't like the old Tangy. I didn't like the new Tangy. But when I mix the two together with a little bit of cherry mints, I can drink that stuff all day long. No kidding. That's what I do. So.
What about the Beyond FX, the powder? I'm also giving her liquid calcium. Could I just discontinue the white powder and just give her more liquid calcium?
Yeah, I don't like the white powder. I mean, it's a good supplement. It's effective physiologically, but I don't like it. I don't like how you mix it. It's messy. It's clumpy. You got to shake it or put it in a blender. And I'm not really a big fan of the taste. Now, a lot of people in my longevity family, in my longevity group, love it. They love it. It's the best thing since sliced bread as far as they're concerned. Sliced gluten-free bread, that is. They love it. I don't. My favorite calcium supplement in longevity is Cal Toddy. It's Cal Toddy. It's made by a company under the longevity umbrella called Supralife Cal Toddy. I like that better. I like the way that Cal Toddy tastes. I don't recommend that you mix the Cal Toddy or the white liquid calcium with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine or anything else. A lot of people do. And there's no harm and no foul in doing that. I just don't like the way that it tastes. Now, if you like creamsicles, if you mix the Cal Toddy with orange juice, it tastes exactly like a creamsicle. Exactly. And, you can add or decrease the amount of orange juice. You could add a little bit of pineapple juice to it to give it a little zing. Whatever. Or make it into a popsicle. So I would do the Cal Toddy separate than everything else. And I would do that. Try that little recipe, man. The old Beyond Tangy, the new Beyond Tangy, the cherry mints with a bunch of water. And, if she does a half a scoop of each, then she's going to need to do that whole concoction twice a day to meet her body weight necessity. Excellent question, Larry. God, you got to love life. I mean, she lost 71 pounds in a year. She had 100 seizures a day on medication. Now she doesn't have any. She hasn't had a seizure for a month. ADD, depression are gone. Eczema is gone. And the MDs told her she had eczema from putting her hands in her pockets, and I'm the quack. You've got to be kidding me. Will somebody please tell me why my profession isn't licensed in Michigan? Will someone please tell me why my profession isn't licensed in all 50 states? Will someone please tell me why my profession isn't covered by your medical insurance in all 50 states? I know the reason. It's because the MDs don't want the competition. Because they know that if you let the naturopaths in, within a couple of years, they're going to be out of a job. For goodness sake, did I talk to this girl? Did I have a private consultation with her? No. Did I see blood work? No. Did I see an MRI? No. Did I order any diagnostic work? No. Did I need any of that? No. All that I did was recommend a foundation medical nutrition program. Was I treating eczema? No. Was I treating ADD? No. Was I treating bipolar disease? No. Seizures? No. What was I doing? Giving her a medical nutrition program, the intention of which was to support and promote her body's ability to fix itself. And guess what? It did. 22 years old, she's got her whole life ahead of her now instead of a nightmare of drugs and misery. Into the bargain, a brand new baby. Now, can you imagine a brand new baby growing up in a household where the mother's gorked out of her mind on prescription meds and bipolar and ADD and can't think straight and it's nuts? No, I can't imagine that. Actually, I can't imagine that. I've seen households like that. It ain't no fun. Ain't no fun, son. But now it's all different. In 12 months, she completely turned it around, and no insurance copay necessary. You know, if you're not dancing around the house in joy right now, if you're not calling everybody in your freaking family up and saying, tune into this radio station, turn on to Youngevity, there's something wrong with you. I mean, I don't know. What's it going to take? Am I going to have to raise somebody from the dead? For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, give your body the nutritional support that it's been longing for its entire life. Stop eating the 10 bad foods. Get the hell out of the way and see what happens. Let your body tell you whether I'm blowing smoke. One day after the next, we progress forward. One day after the next, we progress forward by supporting and promoting your body's ability to fix itself. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. 866-582-9933. That's the number to call. Lines are open. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. Let's go to New York and talk to Wanda. Hey, Wanda, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Thank you, Dr. Glidden. I appreciate that. I've had, right now I'm just on the tangerine. Someone told me about your program, and I have had they found mammogram and found a 1.3, and then it went to 2.2 because I didn't have where they were going to test and see what it was, and then they said that it's cancerous, but I had it taken off. It was small, and they went under the lymph nodes and took and said it was benign there. And I wondered if there's anything that I can be taking to maybe more of that, or to help maybe so I wouldn't have to take the radiation or chemotherapy.
Okay, good. Very, 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 very good, Wanda. Number one, nobody's holding a gun to your head making you do anything. If you want to refuse any medical treatment, you can. There's nobody, there's no law that says you have to do chemotherapy. There's no law that says you have to do anything. It's your body. You can do with it what you choose. So, selenium supplementation. Supplementation with 200 micrograms of the trace mineral selenium in the form selenomethionine, which we have, which Youngevity has, reduces the occurrence of breast cancer by 82%. You hear that? One mineral supplement reduces the occurrence of breast cancer by 82%. And I got to tell you something, it's 1,000,000 times easier to prevent cancer tumor formation than it is to fix cancer tumor formation, because the only people that are legally allowed to treat cancer in the United States are the MDs. That's why there are no alternative cancer treatment centers in the U.S. It's a naturopathic doctor a couple days ago in Oregon was thrown in jail for treating cancer. His name is, it escapes me, Robert Young, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Well, he wasn't thrown in jail, but the charges were levied against him. We have to see what happens, but the MDs hate it. They've made it against the law for anybody to treat cancer except them, and they suck at treating cancer. So, if I had a benign tumor in my breast, I would take selenium, because it's been proven to prevent the occurrence of breast cancer, and that's quite a different thing entirely than treating cancer, which we don't do. We don't treat disease here, especially cancer. But we do optimize and support and promote the body's ability to optimize its health. It's our position that people don't get breast cancer because they have a breast, and the BRCA gene is not genetically inherited. The BRCA gene, from our point of view, is most probably defective chromosome, and the defection in the chromosome is caused by a mineral deficiency. If I had to guess what causes the BRCA gene or the BRCA a phenomenon to express itself, I would say that it's a mineral deficiency. And I'd love somebody to give me $5 million so I could prove that. That's what it's going to take about. But I digress. So what I would recommend that you do, Wanda, again, this is shameless self-promotion. Get a copy of my book and or get a copy of my DVD, A Healthy Body Without Cancer. My book has 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist. There are 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist with a witness and a tape recorder. And if you ask your oncologist these 10 questions, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt what to do regarding their therapeutic. But you have to ask the questions. They're simple, straightforward, easy questions. They're in my book. The book's a good read. The book's a good gift. You can download it to your Kindle for $10, or you can get a hard copy for $20. FireYourMDNow.com. Check out the store button, FireYourMDNow.com. Click on the store button. Get a copy of the book and a copy of the DVD, A Healthy Body Without Cancer, and educate yourself about things that you can do aggressively, take steps aggressively to help your body get so healthy that cancer cells can't form. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. And honest to God, Wanda, the thing about this is, I mean, you just heard, I don't know if you just heard that last testimonial, but oh my God.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this is a holistic phenomenon here, and what we do is just give the whole body support. And we, put good gas in the tank. We stop putting diesel fuel in an unleaded engine. We counsel people to stop eating food that's hurting their bodies. And son of a gun, when you do that, and it's a pain in the neck to rearrange your diet. It is, because it's a pain in the neck to do anything new. And we're into the habit of eating so many foods that we thought were good for us, and we've been duped by the food industry. It's hard. It's not easy. But once you get into the habit of eating the right foods and not eating the bad foods, and you nutrify your body every day, you feel better. Your energy gets better, your mood gets better, your sleep gets better, everything improves. Go ahead.
What's the 10 bad foods?
Yeah, the 10 bad foods. Well, you can get that list for free at my website if you sign up for my newsletter, but I'll tell you what they are.
Okay.
These foods nobody needs to look at, let alone eat. You don't need to write this down because you can get the list for free on my website, but I'm going to tell you what they are anyway since you asked. All right, here we go. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. No more pasta, no more whole wheat, no more cookies and crackers and pretzels or anything made from whole wheat, and everything's made from whole wheat, for goodness sake. You can have gluten-free cookies and crackers and cakes and breads and pizza dough and whatever you want as long as it's gluten-free, but no more wheat, barley, rye, or oats. That's 4. Number 5, no more oil in a bottle. That means olive oil, salad dressing, mayonnaise. It's got to go. Out with the old, in with the new. No more oil in a bottle. Number 6, no more fried food. No more stir-fried rice. No more fried chicken. No more fried shrimp. No more fried anything. I don't care. No more fried food. If you want to cook in a fry pan, go right ahead. Use butter or lard on low heat. Cook whatever you want in a fry pan with butter and or lard, which is rendered pork fat, on low heat. Nada problema. Number 7, no well-done red meat. If you're going to eat red meat, have it rare or medium rare. No well-done red meat. Number 8, no meat that has nitrates added as preservatives to it. No meat with nitrates added as preservatives to it. The most common meats that have nitrates added as preservatives are hot dogs, sausage, pepperoni, deli ham, deli turkey, deli meats. Now, you can find meat without nitrates in a lot of progressive butchers, shops, and Whole Foods. One of the claims to fame of Whole Foods grocery stores is none of their meat has nitrates in it, and that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Number 9, no skins of baked potatoes, yams, or sweet potatoes. If you're going to eat a baked potato, a baked yam, or a baked sweet potato, you can eat the potato but not the skin, because the skin's got nasty crap in it and it'll kill you. If you want to eat a potato and the skin, then boil it or crock pot it. If you cook a potato, if you boil it or cook it in a crock pot, like with beef stew or whatever, then you can have the potato and the skin. But if you bake the potato, you can only eat the potato, not the skin, and no more French fries because, of course, those are fried. And last but not least, bringing up the rear at number 10, no carbonated beverages. Nothing with bubbles with a meal. That means beer, champagne, soda pop, sparkling water, club soda. I don't care. If it's got bubbles, don't wash down a meal with it. Those are the 10 bad foods. And you can get that list for free at my website, but you have to sign up for my newsletter. There's a little give and take here. You give me something, and I give you something, and life is good. It's the free market exchange, baby, and it's really great. FireYourMDNow.com. Sign up for my newsletter. You get an automatic download of the Good Food, Bad Food Diet, plus a link to a video that I created called Against the Grain, which goes into a little bit more detail as to specifically why people need to stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats. No more wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And the recommendation for you, Wanda, one anti-aging healthy start pack and 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. One anti-aging healthy start pack and 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month to support and promote your immune system. Thanks for the call. Going to Carlin, Wisconsin to finish it up. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, talking about all things holistic, rolling back the curtain on the unbelievable, despicable goings-on in modern American medicine, quite frankly, in conventional medicine all around the world. Well, all right, this is where I go out on a limb, okay? I'm going out on a social limb here. I don't care because I'm fed up. I've had it. I'm not taking it anymore, and I think I figured it out. You believe in God. If you don't believe in God, then this is going to make no sense to you whatsoever. I hope that you can wrap your head around this somehow. Well, in the physical existence that we live in, the physical plane of reality that we live in, it's a world of duality. There's up and down, left and right, north and south, night and day, winter and summer, spring and fall, positive and negative, right? Good and evil. It is a world of polar opposites, a world of duality that we live in, male and female. Good and evil. There are forces of light and forces of good which exist in the world, and because it's a duality riddled existence, an existence the very essence of which is duality. The world that we live in, the physical plane of existence that we inhabit, is defined by duality. If there's good, there also must be evil. If there's day, there also must be night. If there's north, there must be south. If there's right, there must be left. If there's an up, there must be down. And so forth and so on, ad infinitum. Well, goodness exists, so therefore does evil. There are angelic forces, metaphysical forces of good. There are metaphysical forces of evil. And good and evil percolate the very fabric of the world in which we live in. Now, consider this, Batman. Riddle me this, Batman. How is it possible for a professional organization to be the leading cause of death in the world, the leading cause of death in the world, the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, the leading moneymaker in the world, and even though they deliver such unbelievably horrible results, people continue to use their services. People continue to be deluded by their false promises. How is such a gargantuan situation able to persist in a world populated with intelligent people. How is such a situation possible? The only explanation that I can come up with, the only explanation that works, the only explanation that resonates inside of my intelligence quotient is the medical industry is evil. Now, I'm going to say it once again. The allopathic medical industry, which is monopolizing the planet right now, under the agency of the pharmaceutical companies, represent evil in the world. They must. Because there is no other explanation that makes sense, which explains how they can deliver so many false promises, so much death, so much pain, so much propaganda, so much profiteering, so much gigantic money for them, so much gigantic financial hardship for us, so much pain and suffering all of the time, and still be considered the kings. It is a proposition of biblical proportions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm only going to say this once. My position is the pharmaceutical companies in the world of the 21st century, quite frankly, for their entire existence, represent evil in our time. And every once in a while they throw you a bone like Novocaine, like morphine, like antibiotics, like the polio vaccine, which may or may not have worked, to make you think that they're the good guys. They throw you a bone to make you think that they're on your side. Meanwhile, they're gutting you from behind the scenes. They're bankrupting you from behind the scenes. They're giving false promises all of the time. They represent evil, and they should be discarded, obliterated from the face of the planet. You can't ever get away from evil, but you can disregard it and ignore it, and quite frankly, tell people there is a better way. And that's what we bring to the table. Coming up with a very special guest at the top of the next hour. Stick around.